What's going on, everybody? Another edition Buffalo Bills recap for you. Week 14 edition. Buffalo gets it done at home in a snowy game against the Bengals. Surprised, to say the least. At least for me, I did not see them winning that game. Going into it, I didn't have a good feeling about it, and through three quarters, I was right. But they have an epic fourth quarter comeback. We'll get into it. And they take down the Bengals 39-34 in Orchard Park. They moved to 9 wins on the season and are sitting pretty good in the playoff picture right now. Still alive for the AFC East. I still don't think they'll get there, but anything is possible. We didn't think that they would get there a couple years ago when Miami had a big lead and they kind of choked it away. And anything's possible, I guess. But, yeah, we'll get into it, man. Like I said, going into the game, I did not have much faith at all. Joe Burrow has just played outstanding against Buffalo in his previous starts. And, you know, he came out of the gate just red hot, man. He was darn near perfect for definitely in the first half. You know, Buffalo was just playing super, super soft coverage, and Burrow was able to pick them apart. And as a Bills fan, man, you were just pulling your hair out, especially the first drive. You know, Buffalo had Cincinnati stopped, you know, third and long, I think at least 3, maybe 4 times on that drive. And just the super soft coverage gave Burrow enough time to find a window and convert. And, you know, Cincinnati just marched down the field and scored. And it was kind of, I mean, they had their way with the Bills defense in the first half. And I think as a game as a whole, I think the stat came out and said that Cincinnati was 10 of 12 on third downs yesterday. And that's tough, especially if you're a team that's, you know, trying to get the ship righted heading towards the playoffs, man. That's not the stat you want to see. And, you know, we've touched on it here for a couple weeks. You know, the Bills passing game has been very good. I mean, I think they're ranked number 1, at least going into yesterday. They were ranked number 1 pass defense. So very uncharacteristic of them to allow, you know, the soft coverage and just the conversion after conversion. And I don't know what was going on. I don't know if that was some kind of game plan that they had incorporated or some kind of scouting thing that they saw or what, but yeah, but whatever the case was, it was not working. So you know, credit to the defense, man. In the second, I guess we say the second half. It's more like the fourth quarter is when they really showed up. But yeah, I mean, there's lots of room to grow on the defensive side of, you know, of the ball. The good news is the run defense was much better yesterday. You know, I think they held Cincinnati to 68 total yards of rushing offense. So, you know, there's a silver lining there. But obviously the stars of the defense yesterday, Christian Benford, I mean, he was the man that changed the game. You know, Buffalo was trailing the entire football game. And it wasn't until the fourth quarter where he just makes an unreal play and picks off Joe Burrow on what looked to be a screen attempt. You know, he literally jumped the route and picked it off and took it to the house for 6 and gave Buffalo their first lead of the game. And that, I mean, that's 2 weeks in a row that he's had a defensive touchdown. I think they said that's the first Bills defensive player in team history to have a touchdown in back-to-back games. So, I mean, shout out to CB, man. He's really turned it on here. I'd say probably the last month and a half, 2 months. He's played really well. he started off really slow. You know, Buffalo extended him this past offseason, and boy, it started off rough, but man, he's righted the ship, and he's been by far our best guy in the secondary, and he's been a game changer, man. He was on Jamar Chase most of the game yesterday, and you didn't hear Jamar Chase's name called all that often. So shout out to Christian Benford, man, heck of a game. And then the next Bengals drive, the very next play, you know, the ball gets tipped there by Jordan Phillips at the line. AJ Epinesa recovers, or I guess gets the interception, and you know, Buffalo's able to capitalize and go down and score another touchdown. And just it's crazy how football works sometimes, man. You know, the defense was the thing that was letting you down, and in the end, it's basically kind of what gave you the win. We're getting ready to touch on the offense because Josh Allen was just nuclear yesterday, but yeah, it's wild. So, you know, shout out there. I don't know what all got adjusted at halftime or what all was said on the sideline, but they definitely played better football in the second half. Definitely wasn't pretty, but then yeah, that fourth quarter, man, was absolutely was just wild, man. Buffalo scored 21 points in, I think they said, just over 4 minutes, and that's testament to that team, man. You know, you hear Josh say it every week. You know, they don't quit, and boy, they definitely did not quit yesterday, because when Cincinnati scored that touchdown to Gesicki in the fourth quarter, man, I mean, I was all but checked out. I mean, I had the game on in the background, but you know, and then Christian Benford happens, and it's a crazy game again, man. So, but yeah, we'll touch on the offense, man. Josh Allen, boy, he once again proves why he's the MVP of the league, man. He put the team on his back, and he willed them to victory yesterday. And he probably won't win MVP again this season, but I'll say, I've said it before and I'll say it again, man. There is nobody more valuable to his team than Josh Allen to the Bills, because without Josh, man, they are so poorly built. The roster's so poorly built. I mean, I've touched on this. It seems like for at least a month straight now, but Josh Allen is like the medicine for this team, for this offense, and he went absolutely nuclear yesterday. 4 total touchdowns, 3 passing, 1 rushing, and you know, mind you, it was all in the snow. So shout out to the offense, man. I don't know what else I can say about Josh that hasn't been said a million times. So I'll keep it short and sweet. I'm running out of daylight. This daylight savings time's killing me. But yeah, next week Buffalo travels to New England in a must-win game. If New England wins, they win the division. Buffalo wins, anything's possible. Anything can happen. So next Sunday, 1 o'clock in Gillette, Buffalo looking really good. We're going to see what New England's made of next week, I think. You know, they've kind of had a Mickey Mouse schedule so far. So next week's going to be a real test for them, because they're playing and catching Buffalo in December, a month where Buffalo doesn't really lose. So next week will be a true tester. So we'll see. Definitely a weight condensed version, but that's all right. I'm sure people don't like listening to me talk for too long anyway. So appreciate y'all for tuning in. We will see y'all next week post New England, and hopefully we're still chasing the AFC. So appreciate y'all. We'll see you next week. Go Bills.